Oh, you listen to that. They changed the theme music on the countdown for my lives on StreamYard. I feel so taken care of and so seen. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited about today. Today, we are talking with my friend, one of my mentors, one of my clients, one of my peers, one of my students, one of my fellow actors, creative types, Jodie Bentley, because 2025 has been interesting and not all in very pleasant ways. And so what can we do for 2026? What can we do to make 2026 even better? And in fact, add some tools to our tool belt, our quiver, our kit that really help us strengthen our pursuit of what is a very weird business. Ladies and gentlemen, Jodie Bentley, who looks much more good than I do. She was mentioning that I look evil, and
Should
she isn't
we
wrong.
should we sing a song from Wicked? Like that just hit me. I think we
No, no,
should.
no. You can. You go right ahead. I was nudged at the theater when I saw Wicked for Good to stop singing. Don't do. There are people here. Don't do
All
that.
right. Fair enough. Fair enough. That'll be another live later.
Yeah, maybe you want to pay me. Hey, so Jodie,
Hey,
happy December 3rd.
happy December 3rd.
Yes, it's Jodie Day. I want people to, first of all, I'm going to go up here and ask people to say, hey, where are you watching? Let me know. Are you
Yes.
here in the United States? Where in the United States are you watching? Where outside of the United States are you watching? What are you looking for to get? I have comments to share, but just tell us what's the story. Where are you at, and what's bringing you here today? You can ask questions of Jodie, and you can ask questions of each other in the chat below, either this on LinkedIn or on YouTube. I've abandoned Facebook because Facebook has decided they're not playing nice with StreamYard. So you know
Oof,
what? The hell with it.
it's been
I
a pain.
promoted it there, but that's okay. So and the way to do that, by the way, is to ask your questions in the comments below, whatever channel you're watching. You're seeing the video, there's comments somewhere over there or down there or whatever. But what I wanted to really concentrate on today with Jodie is she is remarkable in terms of guidance, in terms of support, in terms of really feeling like you're being seen and heard. And Jodie is an actor and an audiobook narrator and a voice talent and a branding expert. And lest you think I'm just listing things because I'm reading them off of her resume, you're wrong. I just know her so well, and I've watched her work, and I want you to pay attention to what she has to say. So let me start. Let me see if we've got
This
anybody
was so
saying
lovely. I just feel
where they're
so,
from.
I feel so loved.
Yeah,
Thank
I mean, there's Daria is in Los
Hi,
Angeles,
Daria.
and Stuart, and who else? Where I got people?
Lauren.
Lauren, hey Lauren, how you doing? Who else? More Stuart. Stuart wants to make sure we know where things are at. Laura Quitico, hey Burbank, that's great.
Hi,
Um,
Laura.
so we have people that are mostly in the United States, but we'll have some others that show up from other countries. It feels universal that in the last 5 years, maybe 10 years, we are constantly at sea when it comes to being performers. Is that true, or is that the way it's always been, and we just think, oh, those are the good old days?
I know, right? No, look, the industry is always in flux. The industry is always changing, right? It always has been. We've experienced an influx of lots of changes over the past 5 years, and I think there hasn't been a space, I think, to feel like I got my footing now, or as soon as we get the footing, I feel like it's taken out from us a little bit. Oh, I lost David.
No, I'm here. I
Is
just
he
wanted to
there?
give you the whole screen.
Oh, you were giving me the screen. I was like, where did you go?
No, I'm here. I'm just like, see, this is
It
called
was
combo
new. It was
control.
new.
The control room is
Wow.
like here. It's me. And so
Got it.
sometimes I want to give you the whole screen. And you were saying something that I wanted people to concentrate on and not look at
Understood. And
my evil bastard self.
oh, I got it. And
So
then I
start
interrupted
from the
myself
beginning of the from the beginning of that sentence. One more time.
one more time. Back to one.
Back to one. As my
Um,
daughter said, when the motorcycle gunned by at her recent wedding and cracked us all up, she's like, hold for the cycle. Hold for the cycle. All right,
That's
everybody
awesome.
back to one.
That's awesome.
And it was funny. My ex was like, what does that mean?
Oh,
I'll tell you when,
tell you later.
at
Tell
the
you later.
reception. Yeah. So, and now, ladies and gentlemen, Jodie.
I feel like I've said it. I've said it. No, I think we know that this business is an unstable business. We know that it's a roller coaster. Our careers, as much as we want them to be one straight line trajectory up, we know that it's always going to be a windy road. But the windy road has felt very freaking windy over the past 5 years. And as I was saying, I do feel like it's just been hard to, get our footing. So, I would love to hear how you're all feeling, but this year it's like the vibe I'm getting from my clients and from the industry right now, it just feels like, okay, like, yeah, here we are still, here we are now in this place. Now what, so, just feeling like a little over it, and how then, if we're feeling a little over it or a little disheartened or a little bit of like, what's the point? This is the point where you really get to double down, right? On who you are, on what you want, on what your vision is, on what your passion is. I've known a lot of actors and artists who've left the business in the past 5 years. And I know a lot of people who've had their most successful careers in the past 5 years. And I do think that really starts with a choice, and really examining oneself, one's habits, one's patterns, one's mindset, to really get clear on what's in your way, how you're stopping yourself, so we can stop the outward blame of the industry all the time, because it's
Yeah.
an easy thing to do. And,
And it's also different for everyone in the industry,
yeah.
I mean, everybody's got their own story. Everybody's got their own journey. I
Yeah.
was just visiting with a really famous audiobook narrator.
Mm,
The entire audiobook industry is like, oh my God, AI is coming for us. We're dead. And there are
right.
people sending out, surveys. How's things for you? What's your job outlook for the future? Is it bleak? They're not in any way trying to, put their finger on the scale on that,
Right.
but they're like the narrator I was with was like, I'm working on 4 books at once right now. I'm not
Yeah.
saying anything about it because I don't want to make anybody feel less than.
Yeah.
But there are people who are struggling, and
Yeah.
there's far more of those, I would imagine, than there are people who are. I have an embarrassment of riches in my life.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that you can really help with. And the reason I wanted to have you here today was to, yes, answer some questions, but also let people know about a free set of sessions that you're doing next week from the 9th to the 11th.
Yes.
Is that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Is that right?
It is. And we
Yeah.
have a bonus day on Friday, a bonus
What?
Q&A.
A what?
Bonus,
A
bonus
bonus
day.
day? What's that all about? Well, if you want to, go check it out. That it's a really simple URL, voheroes.com/dare. It's in the description, either above or below the video. I think it's over there. And if you go there, Jodie's given me some free tickets to give to you. You can be there. The event is free, and if you pay attention, and if you actually engage, don't make your bucket list item here today, oh, yeah, I'll register for the event and then hope that there's going to be a recording. Don't do that. Engage, go, get involved, because the best way to make a change is to actually work, do something. Don't let it be easy. So voheroes.com/dare. Go check it out. 3 days plus a bonus day. And can you give us a little bit of a presage on what people are going to see that day, engage in that day if they do?
Look, I'm gonna get in my soapbox now. I think first of all, I changed this whole thing to be a 3-day event. And I really wanted to be there deeper and in person. And I'm going to see your face. You're going to see my face. We're going to connect over Zoom, because I really feel like I'm tired of actors and artists taking shortcuts. Everyone looks for the damn shortcut. And, we think, okay, I'm just going to sit with my friend and write down my goals. And then I'm ready for the new year. And then your goals sit on your desk for the whole first quarter of the year into the second quarter, and then nothing happens. Or you create a pretty vision board, but you don't take any action, right? And I really, I those things are fun and those things are good, but I really want you to be in action and stop looking for the shortcut to get where you want to go. So each day is going to layer on itself. And the first day is all about looking back and assessing. And I think that's a big piece that actors and artists don't do. The second day is all about leaning in and clarifying the present of where you are and what you really want. Because I don't know about you, but I noticed myself and even a lot of my clients and people I know over the past 5 years have really started living in the shoulds. Oh, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I should be doing this.
Okay, wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
Living in the shoulds.
Yeah.
I came from the should. Okay. All right. I want to make sure I've got that, and I'm totally stealing it. And that's great. All right. So living in the should. Yeah. And the another phrase that people use is you should all over yourself.
Correct. Correct. Very messy.
Yeah. But it's got a heavy weight to it, because when you don't, even though you should, you start to feel guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't create from that space. You can't be present from that space. You can't, show up fully from that space. Then the third day is all about looking ahead and designing the future. And I think everyone just jumps to that step. That's the shortcut. I know what my goal is. I'm going to go there. But you got to clarify all the other stuff in order to start to plan for the future. So those are what the 3 days are really going to cover. And we're going to go deep. We're going to have a Q&A after each training every day. And then we're going to have our bonus Q&A on the Friday. The only caveat is I booked a Ryan Murphy series and a recurring role. And I've been on set for shot a couple days already. And I know I'm going to be shooting next week at some point. So we'll figure it out. But if anything, I'll be recording it and it'll all be great.
Luckily, you have a crew, a following that understands that work comes first.
Yes.
So, yeah, what a great reason to want to reschedule something.
Correct.
But when you look at that notion of taking a shortcut, do you think a lot of people don't pay much attention to the whole notion of actually creating an effective goal set? Like they just go, I want to do this because they want to do it. I want to do that because I saw that person do it. I mean, how about that personalization of goals? How difficult is that?
Yeah. I mean, it's challenging, right? Especially, I think, because so many artists have the FOMO, right? Like, oh, that person's doing the audiobooks and they booked 10 of them. I think I should do that. Or, oh, that person's having luck in TV. I should be talking to my agent about TV and really getting more TV work. Or, oh, verticals are where it's at now. I should be doing vertical, right? So there's a lot of that reactivity that happens a lot. And so one of the big things that I always talk about is how can you be proactive in your career instead of being reactive? And I think we spend a lot of time being reactive to things in our careers. And, I think it's easy to say, oh, I have this goal. I want to be a series regular this year. Okay, great. But what do you need to get that, right? And it's not just about action steps on a piece of paper, right? There's a lot more that goes into that. So I think, goal setting and goal planning, I think goals get to be crafted. They get to be treated as a living, breathable plan. And like I said, it's not this stationary piece of paper that just sits on your desk or a pretty vision board on your wall. Like it gets to be more than that. And I think that's where a lot of actors miss the boat, right? They go, well, this is what I want and we'll see what happens, or I'll wing it. I'm just going to show up and see where the industry takes me, And I think we're leaving a lot of opportunities on the table when we're not actually having an effective plan that can hold you high, that when you do get distracted or get off track, because we know that's going to happen, shiny objects are going to fall into your view, that what your plan is and you can stay the course. And I think that's what happens to so many artists is they'll start strong in January going, yeah, I know what I want. And then February comes and they're like, what do I want? And March comes and they go, I don't remember anymore. Like it's a hard trajectory to sustain if you don't have strategy and action and mindset and truth and your own authenticity to support you.
I wonder what your thoughts are on people who make goals that are simply not going to be achieved. I want
Yeah.
to make $1 million next week. That's a gross
Right.
example, but there
Right.
are even more subtle examples
Yeah.
that, like you said, I want to book a series regular.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a goal that you can set a set of steps toward, that is reasonable for people at uh, any particular point in their careers? Is there an art to crafting a goal in such a way that it becomes achievable?
Yes. Now, look, I think, I mean, I work with a lot of actors and I have some actors who say, oh, yeah, I want to be your series reg. I want to be starring in a studio movie. And it's like, okay, well, let's reverse engineer this and go, what do you have now? And what's in the gap? One thing I will be teaching at the 3-day event, as I call my badass goal system. And it's a really great way to understand the attainability of the goals that you have, the time frame of the goals that you have, the specificity of them, the pieces that you're missing within that. So we're going to talk about that. But I think it's great to have big visions, right? I have a big vision of this. What's the goal I get to craft to get me there? Because that might not be my 1-year goal. That might not be my 2-year goal. That might be my 5-year vision. So then what are the things I need to put in place to make sure that that's going to be a no-brainer in 5 years? So
Okay,
we'll talk a lot more about that in the free event.
great. So that's one thing that people can look forward to. What about people who are sitting there going, vision boards, you're funny. Goals, that's hysterical. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm a left-brained person, not a
Yeah.
right-brained person. I happen to like being on stage and I like
Yeah.
applause and I hope someday to be seen on television. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but there are people who look at all of this as kind of woo-woo, you know, and goals, okay. I mean, doesn't everybody have the same goal? They want to be a star. So what about those people that are kind of
Yeah.
averse to this whole notion of goal setting as a process?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, my first question is, how is that working out for you? Right? That idea of winging it, right, is it's not going to get you where you want to go. You'll have some success, but it's going to be random and rare, you know? And I get it, right? The idea of like goals can feel rigid. This can feel rigid. And I will say, I don't teach vision boards. It's not part of my curriculum. I created one for myself. It's lovely to see it, right? But you need a plan behind the vision board. If vision board speaks to you, cool. If it doesn't, cool. But what you really need is planning and strategy. And I think so many people are averse to goal setting, might be allergic to goal setting because it's a skill that maybe you don't really know how to do. You go, yeah, I'm just going to say this goal and put it out in the world. But I do think it's a learnable skill to understand how to strategize. It's a learnable skill to understand how to create an action plan for yourself, how to actually measure your results, how to give you milestones that you can actually hit, that you go, yeah, I got that, to keep yourself on track. I think that the problem is people have these random nondescript goals that aren't specific whatsoever. And then, 3 months into the year, 6 months into the year, you don't hit it. And you're like, well, that's awful. I'm a failure. I didn't hit my goal. But you never really had a plan. You never really had action behind it. You never really gave you tangible things to do, right? I have so many clients that go, I want an agent. Okay, cool. Well, you're not going to go to a store and grab an agent and bring them home. I want an agent. It's not how you're going to get it.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I want to go get an agent. I want to go book a co-star. I want to
Sure.
go book. Those things are not in your control, but there's lots of pieces of the puzzle that are in your control that will lead to that goal.
That's
And
what I was
that's
kind of
what
getting at is the whole notion of making a statement and then equating that as a goal as opposed to the steps needed to acquire
correct.
that thing. Yeah.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
And that's really where the strategy and the plan and the meat of it all is. And I don't think people always think that way. We focus on the outcome and not what really needs to happen to move the needle to get me there.
Yeah.
And, and so that's really what I help teach. Because I think what also happens is we put the goal out there. We can say, I want an agent, but now your brain is like, oh, but I don't have enough credits. Oh, but I'm not worthy of that. Oh, but I'm not enough. Oh, but la 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 la, every story that you can freaking imagine, right? So again, that's why this does really, for me, start with mindset, because you can have a beautiful goal and strategy as well. But if you don't believe that it's achievable, if you don't believe that you can do it, and you're self-sabotaging every step of the way, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. So we really need to, again, focus on that mindset first, and then really get clear on what is it that you really want, not what you've been told you need to do or you should do or you see your friends do, but what is it that you really want?
Yeah.
As we've said or you were saying at the top of this, David, your look about 2025 almost made me laugh into my microphone. That it's been a tough year, for a lot of people. And we know that this is a tough business. So why make it harder pursuing something that you don't really want to be pursuing? Or why make it harder pursuing something that you don't even have a strategy to go after?
Yeah.
What other business would people do that?
So does she sound like she knows what she's talking about? Yeah. If you think so, please hit the like, hit the share button, bring some more actors here while we're live, just
I
so they
love
can.
it.
You'll be able to see it on either LinkedIn or YouTube after the fact. But bring them here now. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Have them come by. I mean, this is like a really interesting moment and an opportunity to ask questions too. So please ask your
Yeah.
questions in the comments below. If you have got questions, look, you have her here live right now. This is like a small
Here.
group private coaching thing, right? So feel free to do that. And you said sabotage, self-sabotage.
Mhm.
There are some people who are professional victims.
Yeah.
They think the casting world is against them. They think the
Yep.
network world is against them. They think streamers are against them. They think the union is against them. They think the union isn't enough for them. They think whatever. They have these enemies
Yeah.
in the world that they have needed to paint as the villain that stops their progress toward
Yeah.
whatever they want. How do you deal with that?
Oh, I'm exhausted just hearing you say all that. It's hard. This is where you gotta get
Sorry.
no, but I mean, it's true though. Like having those thoughts on a daily, if that's where your brain is at and you're listening to this, God, you're making this career so much harder than it could be. But I also understand that it is hard to put a mirror up to yourself and be honest with what is really going on with you. But that's the missing piece right there, right? It is so much easier to blame your agent, to blame the industry, to blame your manager. I can't tell you how many clients sit down with me and they go, well, my agent sucks. I'm like, okay, well, what's happening? And then they go, yeah, I think I need to make a move. And I'm like, cool, we can make a lateral move to the same type of agent if you want to do that, but you're going to have the same problems because you're not really looking at you and what's getting in your way and what you're bringing to the table, because it's so much easier to go, my agent sucks, than to really look at what's in the gap and what
Yeah.
you're missing.
Yeah. Time
So, yeah.
time for some interactive. I would like to know
Yeah.
from those of you that are listening, just jot in the comments real quick one goal that you have achieved, one goal that you can look back on and
Mm.
go, I did this. Maybe it's moving to a production center like Atlanta or LA or New York or whatever, or going to acting school or getting a co-star or booking an audiobook or whatever. Jot it in the comments. Let me see what it is that you've accomplished. Just one thing that you're damn proud of. And then my question
Mm.
for Jodie as we do this is, what can we learn from the goals that we have already achieved? What can we
Mm.
learn from the success of having gotten what we want?
That's such a good question. That's such a good question. I just want to point out too, Jenna said I was told to, instead of saying should, I can say I could. Exactly, Jenna. And one thing I'm going to talk about on day 2 is conscious languaging and how the words that we choose to use can really either keep us in a negative space or in a positive space. And I'm going to give you a lot of reframes around words. So thank you for saying that, because that is a big part of it. Because if we're constantly saying things like should, or I'm told I have to do this, or we're constantly saying that language, it just gets into that victim place, just like David was saying, with all the other thoughts that we have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like, um, I think achieving goals and making goals feel achievable and looking back and going, and again, that's one thing we're going to talk about is looking back, right, at what you've actually done this year. We're going to look back at what you've done, what's worked, what didn't work. We're going to really start to examine and assess all of this. But I think looking back and going, yes, I did this thing. Number one, it shows you that it's possible. Number two, it shows you how capable you are. And number three, it shows you the power of, yes, I set an intention, if you want to call it that, or I set a goal, if you want to call it that. And I was able to do it. Why? Why were you able to do it? Start to look back at the steps that you took. Who did you have to step into to make that happen? I hit a few big goals this year myself, and I had to step into a different version of myself to do them. I had to step into a different place of power, a different place of ownership. And, when you can start to reverse engineer when you do accomplish things and go, wow, how did I get there? How did I make that happen? Then you can really see, it's not just what you did, but also who you have to be, who you get to be to make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am very happy with the training that I got as an actor. I went to Howard Fine here in Los
Yeah.
Angeles, and every time he would get on stage after a scene with a couple of students, the very first questions that he would ask is, "All right, so what worked, what didn't, and why?" And I
Yeah.
think this examination of what we did this year, what we weren't able to achieve, what we were able to achieve, is really powerful. And there was another thing that came up that came up for me in this past week, and that is planning both for metrics for success and metrics of failure. You know,
Mm,
what are the things that I can sort of measure when it comes to goals, when it comes to the steps toward goals,
yes.
that were things that I want to repeat, things that I want to do again
Mhm.
because they worked.
Yep.
And one of those things that I want to kind of shove off to the side because they didn't quite do what I thought they were going to do. How does
Mhm.
that work in your process, if it's at all
Mm.
part of it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it works a lot. Like, I talk a lot about, this. We're not gonna talk so much about this over these next 3 days, but if we have questions, obviously I'll answer them. But a big piece that I do teach, is about, like, your daily, weekly, and monthly strategy, right? So what are you doing on a daily basis? What are you doing on a weekly basis, monthly basis? And, a lot of times, so many times I go back to even my own daily processes, my own weekly processes, and I go, what's working, what's not? What's having me feel good? What's not having me feel good? What's actually moving the needle? What becomes busy work and not worth my time? And so really, again, assessing on that level. But yes, we have to definitely measure what is working, and giving you tools to be able to do that, I think, is really important, so that you can do it on your own and take it and run with it to be able to assess. But also looking at, wow, that got in my way. Wow, that stopped me. Oh, this was interesting. That thing that I thought, like you said, was going to do something for me actually held me back, or actually just took up time that I could have been doing something else. So I think we just get to be really good sleuths about ourselves, right? But we don't always have the structure to be able to do that. And this business moves so quickly, and we always feel like we're in FOMO. So we're just like going, 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 and not really taking the time to go, do I like that, or do I don't like that? Does this feel good? Did this actually work? Or no,
Yeah,
that worked. Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to double down on that and see what happens. Right. Like, we
yeah,
have to be sleuths about it and have some curiosity about it.
yeah. I want to talk to you about moving targets in just a second, but I want to remind people that the place to go right now is to register for Jodie's event. It's free. It's next week from the 9th to the 11th. VOHeroes.com/dare. You can see it there on the screen. It's also in the description above and below this. So the notion of, okay, that worked, I'm going to go do that, but then the industry has moved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody's going to go, okay, great, I'm going to go print my headshots, or
Right.
I'm going to send a
Yeah.
reel to reel. I'm going to send a reel to reel of my VO demo to somebody. That doesn't work anymore. Although it would be pretty funny if somebody who actually had a reel to reel deck got your reel to reel. It might be interesting. But this notion of, the earth is moving under our feet. There hasn't been, as far as I can tell, I've really tried to figure out if the early 2000s was as constantly filled with change
Mm,
as the last 5 years or so have been,
yeah,
or the last 10 years or so have been. And I don't think so. Maybe it's just, 2020 hindsight or something that's
right.
not good 2020. But this notion of targets moving, can you talk a little bit about being agile and being able to let go of the things that did work versus things that
Yeah.
you think might work?
That is a tough one for people. You said it, that word agile is one of my, agile is one of my favorite words. Like, that's it's we really get to be flexible, agile, adaptable in this business. And yeah, we can look at I mean, we had the writer's strike in 2008. You can look at you think you just have to pay attention to trends, I think is what I want to say, right? Because like even in the 2000s, like because I was doing a lot of musical theater at that point, like the trends in the musical theater world has changed, right? So if you were like a classical musical theater performer, you were kind of shit out of luck for a while because it was really going to like pop and new stuff and jukebox musicals and things like that, right? So you just got to pay attention to trends and what's going on. But even now, like you just got to pay attention. Like, you're doing your thing and you have the goal, but now we're like, oh, that's happening here now. Oh, people are, no one's in their offices anymore, right? So I can't mail anything. Okay, so postcards out the window. I used to love postcards in 2013, 2015, 2016. I haven't sent a freaking postcard in a long time because the trends have changed, right? Because the things have moved. So it is almost, I always say you need to have a 10,000 foot view on the business and your career while you're in it. Right. And how can you keep tabs on what's going on? How's all this moving? How are all these moving parts? And I'm on my plan, but this part is moving this way. Okay, now how can I shift? Not getting angry at it, not getting pissed off at it, not blaming the industry about it, but going, cool, I know this is happening. What can I do to shift? What can I do just to, I don't want to use the word pivot. I hated it when people were using the word pivot. It's not pivoting, it's just shifting, right? How can I just
I
shift my
like
plan?
pivot.
You like pivot?
Come
Oh, again,
on,
I
head
get
on a
so mad at
swivel, head on
pivot.
a swivel, pivot,
Swivel. I like the
but
swivel. How
but
can I
it's an
swivel?
important thing. You know, we're I come from a family of plumbers.
Okay.
Unclogging drains is pretty much the same for everybody's kitchen sink.
Okay,
There's
sure.
not
Yeah.
much difference. There's a trap,
Yeah.
there's a
Yes.
drain,
Yeah.
there's an outlet, yeah, okay, I know some of the, so from day to day, my grandfather, my great grandfather, they did the same things.
Got it.
We are cast as doctors and policemen and women
Mhm.
and rutabagas and who knows.
Yep.
Every single time we ply our trade, we're being asked to do something different. And
Yeah.
yet, when we look at the strategies and tactics that we use to achieve what we want in the business, we're so precious about hanging on to the same thing all the time. No, I know this works. I know this is going to. No, I don't want to hear that they're not. La, 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 they're not using paper headshots anymore. La 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 la. It's
Yeah.
like how do we start to move into enjoying being open to new options, being
Yeah.
open to new solutions, especially when it comes to technology. Because if there's
Mhm.
one complaint I hear all the time, I am a Luddite. I don't like technology. Technology doesn't like me. I hate all these websites. We had the recent kerfuffle with the
Mm.
casting networks and what they pulled, and
Yeah.
everybody moving to other platforms. And then just the nature of how difficult sometimes it is to use an app or to use a
Yep.
site.
Yep.
So, what advice do you have for people who are just so fed up with having to stay open to new options?
Oh god.
I'm sorry for asking the tough questions.
No, no, I mean, this is okay. This is why I think I said I was getting mad at the word pivot, because pivot means I'm going this way and now I have to switch and go all the way over here. But shift just means I just need to shift something. I just need to change one thing. I just need to look at something in a new way. And I think that like the word pivot can feel overwhelming, right? What you're talking about, David, is overwhelmed. People are getting overwhelmed. Our nervous systems are overwhelmed. I mean, how are we keeping up with LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and threads and emails and this and the industry and the trades and the thing? There's so much. So I get the overwhelm. I get it. So first of all, how can you stay centered and calm and in your truth and relax your nervous system so that way it is easier to stay open? because when we're bombarded, all we want to do is close off and protect. And your brain really just wants to protect you. That's what your brain wants to do. And so if all this stuff is coming at you that is perceived as a threat, new technology, new ways of doing things, all the self-tapes when they started happening, right? That's perceived as a threat to you. You are going to shut down and resist. So it's important to recognize your own pattern in your brains, your own habits that appear. And if you can notice like, wow, I'm really just resisting this because it is about change and I don't really want to change. Even saying that, you'll feel a softening in your body. But it is, and look, we don't have to be experts at everything. You don't have to be an expert at everything. You don't have to be an expert editor or cinematographer or lighting designer or whatever it is. If you don't have those skills, find someone to help you. If you're finding tech is hard, get someone to help you. Oh, I can't afford it, Jodie. I have no money. I can't hire an assistant. Barter, find skills, be a reader for someone. How can you think outside the box and just go, hold on, let me just stop being rigid and wanting to hold on and wanting to be right, because we all just want to be right in our own opinions. And I get it. Again, that's our brain protecting us. But how can we just let that go for a hot second and go, what is possible if I chose to be open? What is possible if I chose to shift into a new thought or a new way of being in this moment? And I think that's where the power is. And it sounds simple as I'm saying it. I get that. And I get when you're in it, that resistance is strong. Like I get it. But how can you just take a deep breath and really talk it out with someone or find someone to support you and go, okay, I know I need to shift. What's one small thing that I could do? What's one small thing that I could do? And just start with that. Yep. Because that will open up something else and will open up something else and will open up something else. And before you know it, you're doing all the tech things that you said that you couldn't do. But if you're constantly saying, I can't do that, I don't know how to do that, I don't want to do that, we got to change again some of that languaging and some of that mindset behind it, or else you're going to stay in the same place. And if you're going to stay in the same place, guess what? 2026 is going to look exactly the same as 2025 because the new year isn't going to magically change anything. You are, and you can.
So I'm going to ask you a really tough question in just a moment, and I'm going to put you on the spot, and It's going to be along the lines of, why the hell should we believe you? I think I know the answer, but I want to get your take on just sort of the nature of things. VOHeroes.com/dare. Please go while we're talking, open up another tab on your browser or whatever, and go register for Jodie's event next week. It's on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, December 9th through the 11th. Yes. VOHeroes.com/dare. It's free, but it's powerful, and I want you to be a part of this. So there are plenty of people with what they are claiming to be the solution to our dreams, the meeting of our challenges. I'm one of them. I get it. And people are presented with, I don't think I sell the dream. I don't think I'm like promising the world, but I think I'm one of those people who say, listen, I think I may be able to help you.
Yeah.
Why should people consider what you have to say worth the time and effort to be there? It's important to know this because, we have all these choices, I think I know the reason, but you tell me, why should we believe you?
It's a big question. Well, like you, David, I don't make big grandiose statements of, your life will change, everything's going to change, right? It's up to you to make that change. I'm just here to give you a system and a structure that I know works. And why do I know it works? Is because it worked for me, because I needed it. Because there was a time in my life, it was 2005, and things were not good at all. And I literally, I had to get away, and I locked myself in a room in Ventura, California for 3 days. Hotel room, not a crappy room, a nice room. And I asked myself really hard questions. I brought like a structure for myself to like really understand what the hell was going on, because everything in my personal life, in my career, nothing was clicking or gelling anymore. And I couldn't figure out why, because I was still like doing the things, right? I just go, well, if I keep doing it, it'll work, right? If I just keep taking action, it's going to work, right? But it wasn't. And after, emerging from that hotel room after 3 days, I had a lot of epiphanies. I started creating a system that I started teaching in 2018. And yeah, it was 2015, not 2005, 2015 that happened. And it really just uncovered a lot of stuff for me on what it really means to deeply assess, to be honest with oneself, to uncover what's really there, not not who you're pretending to be or think you should be, not what you're pretending that you want, right? It's so easy to put on our blinders in this industry, and those 3 days completely changed me as a human being, to the point of I asked for a divorce that year. I booked 10 audiobooks that year. I got a distribution deal on a film that I produced that year, like that next year. So it was in so many things. I lost 10 pounds.
If I'm hearing you correctly, I just need to go check into a hotel and all those things could
You
happen.
need the right questions. You need the right questions and systems.
Okay.
Which is and after that, and that happened for me, I was like, oh, wow, this really helped. This really worked. And it was sustainable, and it kept growing and growing every year. And then I started teaching it to my clients, and I saw them growing and changing and going, oh yeah, this is how I start my year every year now. I'm like, great. And then that's when I launched my course. And now this is what I've been teaching people. So yeah,
So that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
There's a personal angle to this. This worked for you. It's worked for others. There's a track record. You've honed it and refined it over the years.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people who are in this industry that have never actually stepped into the arena.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people observing from the luxury suites of the arena rather than really doing the work that Jodie has done. And that's why I really want you to consider going to this event. Laura said, I can't do the 9th. Is it okay to do the other day?
Yes. And Laura, we are going to be recording each day, and you'll be able to watch the replays through this December 17th. So
I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying we are recording it because we know it's the holidays and it's a lot, but showing up live, you will get me seeing you, talking to you, answering your questions. So obviously there's that, right? Yeah. But yes, we will be recording it. So if you can't make that, you'll have to see the recording.
I want to repeat what I said earlier. I get that you might have something already scheduled because it's the holidays or because it's life. But the fact of the matter is that engaging with stuff, and if you're going to watch the recording, watch the recording. Don't just say you're going to watch the recording. Watch the recording. And I'm not yelling at you, Laura. I'm just saying that in general, people
you totally yelled at Laura.
Laura is one of my lovely VO heroes. I would never yell at Laura. We have these wonderful intentions, and we think, oh, we have this insurance of a recording. Just be sure to engage. It's like, and then if you don't engage, if you don't watch the recording, or if you don't attend the sessions that you've registered for, and they are free, later on in the year, I'm taking away your permission slip to complain that none of this shit worked. Because you didn't have any of this shit to begin with. So stop that, at this event, will people have the opportunity to work with you in the future?
Yes. On day 3 of the event, I will be sharing one of my signature courses, which is called Dare to Be Unstoppable. And it is a lifetime membership course. If that's something that you're interested in going deeper on once you attend the event and see what I talk about, and if it resonates and vibes with you, yes, you'll get the chance to work with me more deeply in my course and start January off really strong. Strong.
And I want you to understand something. Jodie is one of these people that doesn't say the phrase, oh, well, you'll have to take my course to get that information. What she does is what I am very proud to do, and what I see others doing who really have your best interests at heart. And I mean, you, the person watching this session. she gives away her best stuff in the events that she holds that are
Yeah.
free. And I
Mhm.
think people sometimes go, well, why would they do that? Why would a person who's selling something do that? And the answer is the application of what is given to somebody is that long and really valuable, worth paying for part of learning something.
Mhm.
It's not just 2 + 2 = 4, but what does that mean in terms of my future?
Yeah.
What do these strategies and tactics mean, and how do I affect them? And that's
Mhm.
really what I think is the key to the answer to why should people listen to you. And
Mm.
that's because you give people the tools and then you show them how the ratchet works. You show them how the locking pliers work. You
Yeah.
show them how things can be applied in a way that are really, really spectacular. We've got about 15 minutes to go before Jodie has to move on to her next event today, and I want to make sure that you get your questions answered. So again, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat below. I'm going to check one more time to see what we have. Somebody's bringing their vision board and their
All
luxury
right,
bait.
Laura.
Yeah. All right. Um, Jenna Guercio, she's very grateful for these events, and I'm not sure if she means today's session or the events that you're going to hold. Let's just say she's talking about next week's.
Well, she just said she signed up, so she's grateful for all the
Okay.
events. She's grateful for all of it.
Great, great, great. Yeah, there you go. All right, fantastic. I love that.
Right.
The the notion that this should be easier pops up for some
Mm.
people.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up to be, a math professor. I didn't sign up to be a rocket scientist. I didn't sign up to be a brain surgeon. I signed up to be an actor.
Mhm.
And I would like to remind people, and I'd love your take on this,
Yeah.
that when you're good at something, people look at how you do things and think, wow, that looks pretty easy. It must be easy. It must not be that
Mhm.
hard. And yet you're acting your ass off. You're voicing your ass off. You're writing your ass off. You're doing all of these things that other people might think are super simple to do. Like, how hard can be an actor be? Huh? When you go home for Thanksgiving last week, did somebody say to you, hey, did you sign up to be on that new show on NBC? Because, like, you should be on that.
You should be on
Sign
that.
up. I swear to God, somebody said that. They don't understand how hard it is to not only be in the business and face this silent rejection 99% of the time, but
Mhm.
just the execution of what we do.
Yeah.
We have to be business people and we have to be artists at the
Mhm.
same time.
Yeah.
So, talk to me a little bit about being resilient and being open to the idea that this is not as easy as it looks.
I mean, yeah, it's not as easy as it
Am I
looks.
asking you too hard questions? Am I asking you
No,
questions
no,
that
no,
are not
no.
based? No.
No, I mean, look, this is all truth. Like, this is truth. You said not as easy. What was the first part of that question? No.
It's not as easy as it
Yeah.
looks, and that we have to be open to the
Resilient. Just
notion that it's
resilient.
gonna. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. When I have a client come to me and they're like, "Well, I moved to LA. I'm going to give it a year and we'll see what happens." I'm like, "Oh, honey." Like, I just want to like,
Oh, honey.
"Oh, honey."
Oh,
Like,
honey.
have fun in the year because it's going to come and go real freaking fast and, not much might happen. Like, that's just the honest truth. Cuz you're laying the groundwork, you know. Okay, side story. I'll tell you a side story. So I wrote a feature film over the past 3 years. And I've told myself that I would not let my feature film sit on my desk, right? And I'm not going to be a writer who writes something and puts it on a shelf. Um, and the amount of things that have happened with my feature film, getting development money, getting a director, getting a producer. I was just at AFM pitching it. I have 2 production companies interested. I have a celeb whose interest is piqued by my script to be one of the roles right now. And why did all of that happen? Because I created a plan, because I knew what I wanted. I created strategy in place. But also, I've been in this business a long time. I've been very resilient a long time. I've nurtured relationships a long time. You know who the director is in my movie? Someone I met over a decade ago. You know who is a production company I'm speaking to? Someone I've knew in New York 15 years ago. Right? So it's about this resilience in this business of like, I'm going to stay in touch with these people. I'm going to nurture these relationships. I'm going to stay on my path. I'm going to stay open to my goals shifting and changing. I'm going to stay open to other people and what they need and how I can support, because at some point it's all going to click. At some point, and that might be in a year, that might be in 2 years, that might be in 10 years. But it is about having that resilient mindset, that marathon mindset in this business. And if you're having that resilient or marathon mindset, that's not someone who's winging it. That's not someone who's going, I hope it works this year. We'll see what happens. That's not someone who's just, banking on they'll show up and whatever the universe gives them, it'll give them, like that's someone who actually has a plan, who has a strategy, who's tapping into all their resources to help with that strategy and also helping other people along their path. So just getting on my little PSA soapbox of, just if you're going to do this business and be in it. And that's like the shortcut, right? I want the immediate result. I want the booking right now. And then I know I've made it. That's not really how it works, right? The bookings are like the gravy on the Thanksgiving turkey, it's like.
They see influencers right now getting cast on shows and they think to themselves, oh, I just need to unbox some makeup and I'll get booked. I want to sort of hit on something that you said there. The definition of the word marathon. Okay. For some people, it's a year, as you mentioned. I'll be here for a year. And if I don't make it in a year, well, I gave it my best shot. Okay. Maybe that's your best shot. I might reassess that best shot. There are some people for whom, they have a war chest of, a couple months worth of money to pay rent and so on. And that's their marathon.
Yeah.
I believe that you are going to be most helpful to the people that have shown up here today and are watching this replay who know that the definition of the word marathon is decades, not years or year or months or whatever. And if you go to VOHeroes.com/dare, which will take you to the registration page for Be Unstoppable, which is Jodie's free session next week, 3 days in a row from the 9th to the 11th, please sign up for it. Tell her I sent you if you get a chance, just to say hi. Know that she's in it with you and for you for the long haul. She's not going to give you a quick fix.
Yes.
She's not going to say, if you just go to this kind of class for acting and you do this kind of thing and market yourself for a few days or jump on social media and get some attention. She's going to give you strategies and tactics that are A, proven, and B, versatile enough that you can make them your own. So please go to VOHeroes.com/dare. Give Jodie an opportunity to help you. Tell me if I've missed anything. I'm sure I've missed an amazing amount of things, but only because there's so much that you offer. But tell me if there's something you absolutely want to make sure people know that I haven't somehow touched on.
I just will say that I have clients globally. I actually have clients in 32 countries. So if you're watching from another country and you're like, yeah, but you're in the US, so this probably won't work for me. It's not about that. Right. I like I said, I have clients all over because it's not about where you are. It's about your mindset and figuring out the strategy of where you are and the trends of where you are for sure. But all the planning and the processes and the letting go and the assessing, that's going to carry you no matter if you're in Atlanta, LA, Prague, Germany, Czech, wherever you are. So I will just say that. So if any of you are like, oh, well, this worked for me because I'm in London. Yes, I have lots of clients in London. So yes, come on over.
Yeah, how you apply these things may have local variances, but the overall things that Jodie teaches you, and I know because I've been in her classes, the overall things that she teaches you are applicable universally.
Yeah.
So just know that you're going to be able to take what she gives you and apply it to how you're approaching your work. Because listen, we're all artists. We've all been, unfortunately, in some cases, told from the time that we decided we were going to be in this business, you do you, boo. You march to that beat of a different drummer if that's what you want to do. And there are artists who are driven to reject things that other people say work because they're
Mm.
different. They're
Mhm.
different. No, that won't work for me. You don't know me.
Right.
I'm different. Yeah.
Right.
So just know that Jodie's gonna be able to help you no matter what you think is
Oh,
gonna work.
yeah. We're gonna work through all your bullshit. I say with love. I say with love. But it's true. We all have these stories that we perpetuate.
Yeah.
And you probably don't even realize that you're perpetuating them because they become such a part of your own mental capacity or zeitgeist or whatever, you know? So we're gonna get real, get to the truth. Oh, I love it that
Fantastic.
Stuart says still plugging after 43 years. Do or do not. I love it, Stuart.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so it's
Yeah,
coming up to the top of the hour.
it is.
Uh, Jodie Bentley has once again been spectacular
Oh,
and represents on your screen good versus my evil. And yet everything that she's going to give you is good. Go to voheroes.com/dare, sign up for the 3-day event next week, be unstoppable, get ready to have your mind at the very least blown and at the most changed dramatically in
mm,
terms of how you approach this business
yeah,
from the business side of things, right? This isn't going to
yeah,
be an acting class. This
right.
is going to be a how to handle your stuff class.
Mhm.
And please enjoy that. And thank you for
Yeah.
showing up here today. Please share this with your friends, your colleagues, etc. Go to voheroes.com/dare and sign up. Yes, it'll be recorded. If you're going to rely on the recordings, engage in the recordings, and also stay to the end. Ask
Yeah,
questions. She's
yeah.
going to give you an opportunity to do that. Please
Mhm.
take advantage of that. All
Love it.
right, Jodie, thank you so much for being
Yes,
with us today, and
of course.
I appreciate it.
Of
And
course.
thank
Thank
you all for
you.
showing up, and your
Yes.
comments and everything has been great. Let me just share my appreciation for you. I know it's a holiday season. I know you have a lot of things that you're dealing with, and
Yeah.
maybe you're even working. So just know that I get that. voheroes.com/dare for Be Unstoppable. And Jodie Bentley, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully, I'll see
All
you
right.
next week.
See you later.